Welcome everyone. I am Neeraj Kulkarni, currently working at Microsoft, and I'll be presenting our work CuddleSys, Data-Driven Resource Management for Interactive Services on Reconfigurable Multicores. This work was done while I was a PhD student at Cornell University and was done in collaboration with my other co-authors at Cornell. In recent times, cloud computing has grown in popularity. One of the reasons for its proliferation is cost efficiency, which is enabled by multi-tenancy, which is basically sharing resources among applications and users. In a typical data center, we see two kinds of applications. First are the latency critical interactive applications. Few examples include web servers like Nginx, databases like MongoDB, and web search. These applications care a lot about their latency and have strict quality of service requirements in terms of their tail latency. The other kind of applications are batch applications, which include Hadoop, Spark, and Graph Analytics jobs. For these applications, the quality of service is measured in terms of their throughput. Now, this multi-tenancy leads to interference in the shared resources, which in turn leads to unpredictable performance and quality of service violations in case of the latency critical applications. Thus, it is difficult to implement multi-tenancy with latency-critical applications. Now, in order to manage this interference in the shared resources, previous works have employed runtime resource partitioning, where enough resources are located to the latency-critical applications to meet their quality of service, and then the remaining resources are located to the batch applications. Some of the resource partitioning techniques include co-relocation, LLC partitioning, memory partitioning, etc. But most of these techniques are coarse-grained. On the other hand, fine-grained resource allocation would allow allocating just enough resources to the latency-critical applications to meet their quality of service, and in result can potentially improve the performance of the co-located applications. DVFS is one such knob that is widely used in systems today that enables fine-grained power and performance adjustments in cores. Prior work that uses DVFS in the context of interactive applications include Pegasus, Heracles, Rubik, Parties, etc. But as the technology shrinks, the range of voltage scaling is reducing, due to which DVFS may not be as effective. Also, DVFS primarily targets dynamic power. As a result, we can see a recent push towards using power gating to achieve power savings. The DCC feature in Intel processors is an example of that. An alternate fine-grained resource partitioning is enabled by reconfigurable cores, which can dynamically power gate pipeline regions in a superscalar out-of-order core. The advantages of these reconfigurable cores are that they reduce both dynamic and static power. They can be effective in further technologies where voltage scaling ranges are limited and thus can effectively augment DVFS. Since they reduce idle power, they also have the potential for increasing energy proportionality in data centers. The reconfigurable cores that we use in our work were proposed in an earlier work, Flickr. A superscalar out-of-order core is divided into three sections, front-end, back-end, and load store, where each of the sections can be configured in 6, 4, or 2 ways by turning off lanes. For example, in the front-end region shown in this figure, which is configured as 4-way, only 4 instructions can be processed in parallel, and the array structures in fetch, decode, rename, and dispatch stages, which are included in the front-end region, are power-gated proportionately. Now that we looked at reconfigurable cores, and given that latency critical applications are gaining importance, we'll see if the reconfigurable cores are of any benefit to these applications. To do that, we look at an example latency critical application, Shapian, from the Tailbench benchmark suite. In this plot, on the x-axis, we have core configurations, and on the y-axis, we have the tail latency. And we are looking at two loads, the low load and high load. At high load, the tail latency is low for high-performing configurations and increases dramatically for low-performing configurations. On the other hand, at low load, the tail latency remains low even for the low-performing configurations. Similar trend can be observed in another application, Mastery. Therefore, when load is low, these interactive applications can be operated in lower configurations to reduce their power consumption. Now the plots below show the power consumed by these two applications for all the core configurations. Among the configurations which keep the tail latency low at high load, in case of Shapian, this configuration 226 consumes the least amount of power, while in case of Mastery, this configuration 424 consumes the least amount of power. These configurations are like the best configurations for these respective applications. Thus, we note that the best configuration for each application depends on the application characteristics. Thus, the key takeaway from this characterization study is that configuration can really help in reducing the power consumption, and different configurations are indeed needed for different applications. Now that we saw reconfigurable cores were useful for latency critical applications, we consider management of a system with multiple reconfigurable cores, co-scheduling interactive application with batch applications. In this figure, we see multiple reconfigurable cores running multiple applications which share the last level cache and memory. Managing such a system leads to challenging optimization problem where we need to determine the core configurations and LLC partitions in order to meet the quality of service of the interactive app and maximize the throughput of batch applications while operating under a particular power budget. Now this is hard because we need to search in a high dimension huge space. To get a sense of the design space, we see that for a 32-core system with 24 core configurations and 4 cache allocations for each core, the total number of configurations are 108 raised to 32, which is huge. Before describing our runtime management system, Cuttlesys, we look at the timeline of the different steps involved. First of all, we divide our entire execution time into multiple fixed time slices, and here we look at a particular time slice. We take a black box approach where we assume no knowledge of currently running applications. At the beginning of each time slice, we need to characterize the power and performance of all the applications in each configuration, which is the combination of core configuration and the cache allocation. Using this data, we determine the best core configurations and the LLC partition sizes in the next step. And finally, the cores are configured and the LLC is partitioned based on the solution obtained. And over multiple time slices, the execution of our runtime system looks something like this. Now we look at the architecture of Cuttlesys. It consists of a resource controller, which in turn consists of two modules. The first module is the performance power reconstruction module. This module samples the power and performance of two configurations of the currently running applications and then estimates the power and performance of all the configurations of the applications. This data is then used by the design exploration module, which determines the best core configuration and the LLC partition. This is then used by the configuration controller, which configures the cores and the LLC appropriately and runs the system in steady state. Next, we describe each of these components in detail. Now let's look at the performance power reconstruction module. First, we make an observation that the power and performance of different configurations for a given application may correlate with the power and performance of other previously seen applications. This problem looks very similar to a recommendation system where users are similar to applications, items to be rated or movies are similar to configurations, and ratings are similar to throughput, tail latency, or power values. Thus, we can construct a matrix something like this where we have applications on the rows and different configurations on the columns. In our system, we assume a few known applications for which we know the power and performance in all the configurations. For the currently running applications, we get samples for two configurations shown by color green here and fill the remaining entries using a reconstruction algorithm based on SGD. At the end of this, we know the power and performance of all running applications in all configurations. Next, we look at the design space exploration module, which uses the data from the characterization and finds a good global solution in the high dimensional space. First, for the latency critical application, we just select the configuration which meets the quality of service and consumes the least amount of power. Then for the batch applications, we need to search for the configurations that maximize the throughput while operating under the remainder power budget. We do this by using a heuristic search algorithm called Dynamically Dimension Search, acronym DDS. We describe DDS next. We set up an application configuration vector which has the number of elements equal to the number of applications currently running. And each element represents the configuration, which is a combination of core configuration and cache allocation in which the application will run. The algorithm starts with initial random points and we pick the best among them. Once we have the best point, we perturb it with the perturbation vector to get a new point. The perturbation vector is selected such that DDS does a broader search in the beginning and narrows down the search later. More details of the perturbation vector can be found in the paper. Once we get the new point, we see if the new point is better than the current best point, and if that is the case, this new point is set as the current best point. And this algorithm repeats for n number of iterations, after which it gives a good global combination of core configurations and cache allocations. To evaluate Cuddlesys, we consider a multi-core system with 32 cores, where each core has 27 configurations. We use latency critical applications from the Tailbench benchmark suites and batch applications from the Spec 2006 CPU benchmark suite. We consider sets of collocations of latency critical and batch applications as our workload. We use these in simulator combined with MacPat to get performance and power numbers. We evaluated our system at various power caps. We evaluate the accuracy of performance power reconstruction module. First, we consider apps running in isolation for a full time slice of 100 milliseconds instead of the 1 millisecond samples. We measure power, throughput, and tail latency in two configurations and predict the rest of them. This ignores any inter-app interference and sampling errors as we are taking the data for the full time slice. The figure has inaccuracy box plots for each of throughput, tail latency, and power. The boxes which represent 25th and 75th percentiles are within 10%, and the lines which represent the 5th and 95th percentiles are less than 20% for each of throughput, latency, and power. Next, we evaluate the reconstruction algorithm during our full system runs. The median is close to 0, and the 75th and the 25th percentiles are within 10% in all the cases. However, the 5th and 95th percentiles in case of throughput and power increase, as do the outliers. This is caused by the profiling runs being affected by resource contention between co-scheduled applications and sampling error, where 1 millisecond samples are not representative of the full time slice. But a thing to note here is that a 10% accuracy loss does not translate to 10% an overall 10% performance loss. In this slide, we look at the dynamic behavior of Cuddlesys in a varying load scenario. In the figure on the top left, we see time on the x-axis and percentage load on the y-axis. Until 0.3 seconds, the load is low, and after that it's set to high until 0.7 seconds. In the plot below, we have time again on the x-axis and the tail latency on the y-axis, which is denoted by this green line. The quality of service is denoted by the dark pink line. The colors in the background determine the core configuration that the latency sensitive application operates in. After 0.3 seconds, since the load increases, we see a quality of service violation. But immediately in the next time slice, the system recognizes this and switches the application to a high performing configuration. And we see the tail latency drop. But since there is some slack, the system also recognizes this and switches the application to a medium performing configuration. As a result of these reconfigurations, the batch applications have to operate in lower performing configurations, which can be seen by the drop in the throughput here. Also, all throughout the experiment, we can note that the system operates under the given power budget. Finally, we compare Cuddlesys with core gating and asymmetric multicores over various power caps. In case of core level gating, we simply turn off cores in order to meet the power budget. For asymmetric multicores, we consider two core types, big cores and small cores. We assume an oracle like asymmetric multicores, where the number of big and small cores are not statically fixed and vary based on the workload and power cap. In this case, all cores remain active, but some of the applications execute on small cores in order to meet the power budget. In this figure, we show the percentage power caps on the x-axis and the relative instructions executed by the co-scheduled batch applications on the y-axis. In all the cases, we note that the quality of service of the co-scheduled latency critical application is met. At 90% power cap, all the cores can be turned on for both the fixed core designs, while parts of the cores need to be turned off in case of Cuddlesys owing to the energy overhead incurred by the reconfigurable cores. Thus, Cuddlesys incurs an 8% performance loss there. But as the power caps decrease, Cuddlesys outperforms the baseline core level gating as it turns off more cores, and also asymmetric multicores as more batch applications start executing on the small cores. The fine granularity of the reconfigurable cores provides additional power performance operating points, which permits for better fine-tuning and provides performance gains. For the most stringent power cap, Cuttlefish shows an improvement of 1.5x over Oracle-like asymmetric multicores and 2.4x over core-level gating. Also, we observe that for 90, 80, and 70% power caps, Cuttlefish provides modest gains over Oracle-like asymmetric multicores. In our paper, we considered a realistic asymmetric multicore and demonstrated an average gain of 1.62x for these power caps. Finally, to summarize, we leverage reconfigurable cores to enable fine-grained resource allocation among interactive and batch applications. We propose Cuttlefish that manage huge design space using data-driven techniques, and we demonstrated performance improvements over core gating, Oracle-like asymmetric multicores, and prior work Flickr. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to answering your questions in the live conference session.